Everyone rejoice, the new Fallout trailer is here. Well, not everybody. The epic journey is just over a month away, and Amazon Prime and Bethesda have dropped this hot new trailer. It's jam-packed with surprises and action and even a little comedy. Oh, did I mention there's lots and lots of action? So buckle up guys, grab yourself a beverage and a comfy chair. The end of the world is coming and we're going to get lots of answers to questions and maybe raise some more. So get comfortable guys and let's have a deep dive into this Fallout trailer together. So we start with a sequence that's straight out of the previous teaser. This is Walton Goggins as Cooper Howard, who goes on to become the Ghoul later on in the series as we now know. We speculate before that he was an actor doing an advert for Vault-Tec, and I think we can confirm that now definitely. This next sequence shows us a preview of what life's like in the Vault. This is obviously before everything goes a bit crazy, and I think there might be a couple of scenes joined together here. I think this is likely to be the Cooper Howard advert for Vault 4, joined with some of the scenes from Vault 33. A couple of points to note here. First of all is obviously this giant projection screen. We think we saw this in some of the earlier scenes. This is obviously now confirmed. I think it probably gives them the idea that they're outside, but we haven't seen this in any actual vaults in the game as far as I know, but you let me know if I'm wrong there. I thought this was an interesting shot of the corridor. We can see they've got mailboxes outside their doors with some tables and chairs, almost like a little porch patio type of thing. Again, I don't think we've seen this in any of the games. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And we get to see Hank here, the overseer, setting up what appears to be some kind of giant picnic, some kind of celebration. My guess is this is where everything all goes crazy. Next we get a series of clips that are straight out of the previous trailers, and the focus here is on Lucy making that decision to leave the comfort of the vault and go out and embark on whatever this quest is. But of course we have this one piece of really significant new footage. So I think what we're looking at here is Shady Sands. I think this scene is towards the end of the series. And I say that because what we see here crops up again at the end of the trailer. Now if you look over on the left near the building, you can see two figures there. Now I think this is Maximus and Lucy because we see them standing next to a crater at the end of the trailer. So I don't want to say too much here because I know all the NCR people got really upset with me in the previous video when I said I think the NCR are probably gone. And later on we do see the NCR again. They do definitely appear now, so we can confirm that. But I think what I was thinking about where the NCR are and what's happening with them has pretty much been confirmed with this trailer. So NCR people, don't give up hope altogether because there is a little bit more NCR coming up in a little bit later. Next sequence involves Lucy arriving at this general goods store. We saw this lady before in the previous video and presume she was the shopkeeper. Again, that's now confirmed. And this is a funny little sequence here where Lucy is clearly a massive fish out of water. There's a couple of cool little Easter eggs in this scene. One is the stim pack in the glass case, and the other one is the little Vault-Tec bobblehead. That's a really cool little reference to put that in there. And next sequence of clips is once again clearly focused on the character of Lucy. Couldn't help but notice this car graveyard clip. We see a lot of these cars all through the previous videos. We talked about this a lot in one of the previous videos. A lot of us were hoping that they'd do something with this when we saw them at the Red Rocket and at the Super Duper Mart. We was hoping they'd do something CG and try and dress them up a little bit to make them look more like Fallout cars. That clearly doesn't look like the case. I think we're stuck with these cars. I know I'm not the only one who's going to be disappointed by this, but let me know what you guys think. The Lucy sequence continues with what I think is going to be clips from all over the series. I think we can tell this by the fact that her uniform and her appearance is in various states of distress for all of these clips. Some circumstances here, I think we're seeing a lot of this out of context. But there is a lot of new information here to unpack, so let's take a look at some of the stills. One of the features of the previous trailer was the giant finger mouth monster, the big pink thing. I think it's fair to say this is the sequence which we see that creature. Now on this still of Lucy we can see that her left arm, she has some kind of a wound, her vault suit is ripped open there, and this is the Ghoul pointing his gun at her. Now I don't think this can be their first meeting. We're fairly certain that they meet for the first time in Philly, the junk town. Now we can tell that because Lucy looks clean and pristine in all of those shots. Now we also see in a later shot somebody in power armour fighting that same monster, so perhaps this is a scene with all three characters that occurs later on. Now we have a sequence that answers one of the big questions from the previous trailer. Who was on the gurney being pushed by the Mr. Handy? Well, I think we can now confirm it was almost certainly Lucy. She appears here to be in some kind of pharmacy or trying to find some kind of medical attention. This whole sequence is really shadowy and dark in the trailer, so I've taken the liberty to brighten this up for us. And we can see here that Lucy is in something called Kiddie Playland. I'm not familiar from the games, but if you are, let me know. And maybe this explains why there was an ice cream advert in the previous trailer. But the thing to note here when we brighten this up is we can see that Lucy is missing one of her boots. The next little sequence is one of my favourite bits from the whole trailer. It's quite funny, so I'll let you guys see it. I won't spoil it for you. But we have this medical Mr. Handy, and I think we can guess that this doesn't go the way Lucy was hoping. I just wanted to say I think the Mr. Handy robot is brilliantly done here. I think it's just so well done. The eyes, it looks so real. I think you've done a fantastic job on this. What do you guys think? Next up, we have a brief look at the background of the Maximus character. Once again, we see the arrival of the Brotherhood, and we see this scene from Maximus as a child being rescued by the Brotherhood. And then we get this really surprising scene of Maximus in power armour. And we get something that's completely new that we've never seen in the games before. The faceplate for the helmet lowers down separately. Never seen that in any of the games. And also the eyepiece comes down. This is a short but really cool sequence, and I think it's good that they're putting new things in here and not just copying the games but coming up with new features as well. As always, I want to know what you guys think about this. At the start of this sequence we get these Brotherhood individuals all lined up. I wouldn't be surprised if this is maybe Maximus getting promoted. But I thought it was interesting here to see that none of the Brotherhood uniforms match the games at all. Now I thought this was very, very odd. You see them match the games almost exactly, right down to minute detail with most of the other factions, yet we get the Brotherhood here and it's like they've completely redesigned the whole look, barring the power armour. The next sequence shows this shot of the Ghoul travelling, and then some more footage of the shootout in Philly. This is the point in the trailer where I start to get even more confused. First, on this long shot, it appears we have a Slocum Joe's over on the left. Do you think that's a Slocum Joe's? Let me know. But the interesting point here is the Ghoul seems to be travelling with the dog. Now, we'd all presume that the dog was Dr. Wheelzig's dog. And we get another scene of the gunfight, and we see him drawing and firing this pistol. By the way, if you know what this pistol is, let me know. I haven't been able to place it. And we can see that this pistol blows a hole in one of these individuals. Next scene straight off the thumbnail of my previous video with Lucy, Wheelzig and the shopkeeper, and now we can see they were confronting the Ghoul. If we look to the right of this shot as he approaches, we can see the dog lying on the floor, apparently, well, perhaps dead. You can see what looks like a gunshot there in the side of the dog. I found this really confusing. Has someone shot his dog here? Is this why he boots off? And there's all kinds of little Easter eggs and bits and pieces here in this one picture alone. But if we look down at the bottom of the picture, we can see Dr. Wheelzig appears to have lost a foot. And we can tell this must be right near the start of the show because Lucy's looking pristine in all her gear. And this sequence now also confirms something I speculated about in the earlier couple of videos. I thought this was probably a tranquilizer gun that Lucy had, and now we can confirm that here. We can clearly see she shoots him with one of these tranquilizer darts that has absolutely no effect on him. At this point the trailer really begins to pick up pace, but we do get a mismatch of shots that I think are from all over the series. But there are some really important tidbits we can get here. Let's pause some of these scenes and have a really good look. Now some of these scenes are only just a few frames long, so I've really had to pause and do the best I can for you, and they do jump about, so bear with me a little bit with this. First off, we have this ruined observatory shot, and there's a couple of really important things we can see here. I think this is going to be the big battle sequence that we saw in the previous trailer, where we could see the Brotherhood was fighting someone. I said in that video, we don't know who they're fighting. It could be the NCR for all we know. I think this is what that sequence is. If you have a look on the right, you can see what looks like a settlement, almost exactly out of Fallout 4. We've got junk fences, we've got some tables, we've got crops in there. It looks like there's some kind of defence turrets on the observatory. And of course, over in the sun, coming out the sun on the left there, we see a fleet of vertibirds. This sequence looks like Lucy wakes up just as the Mr. Handy's about to cut into her. Next, we're back to Hank the Overseer in this cornfield section again. This looks like it's after all of the troubles have occurred, and we have whoever this is in a white dress. I'm guessing this is probably Lucy again. They look like they could be the only two people to survive whatever the chaos is. Small point to note, I really love the Please Stand By and the background there on holo screen. NCR people rejoice, here they are. Probably not the NCR you was hoping for though. I'm guessing this is the door of the observatory and they're scrambling as the Brotherhood arrive. These first two individuals out the door do look like proper soldiers. Again, I said earlier that the Brotherhood uniforms didn't really look anything like the game, and it appears that the NCR ones don't either. Again, I'm guessing this is NCR. I can't really see what these weapons are in this shot. If you can blow this up and have a look, all you weapon guys, let me know. But we can see they have shin armour here, body armour and these round helmets. Now the trailer does something a little bit odd here because it looks like it's the same sequence, but there's a jump cut. And the people coming out now look to be more of a militia. It's obviously the same woman as the leader, in almost the same pose, but everybody else looks a little bit different. This sequence really stood out to me watching the trailer. Let me know if you guys had the same experience. Now, as far as the equipment goes in this sequence, I think the girl on the left here has, I think it's something like an RPK, a Russian RPK. I'm not sure if we've ever seen that in the game before. Again, you gun experts, jump down there and fill all the blanks in for me there. The guy on the right, we can see he has a combat helmet on, and he has a combat armour shoulder pad, which I thought was a really nice touch, because we get this in the game where you just wear like one-off bits of armour. I think he's meant to have a combat rifle there, but again, if you guys can recognise that as something else, let me know. And of course, we can see that the leader in the centre here has a laser pistol. We see a brief sequence of this battle. The first thing I noticed here was this sign. And I think this is Griffith Observatory Friendship Centre, I think it says. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it definitely has the Vault-Tec logo. And I think this could be the location where we see Cooper Howard when the bombs go off. And as the sequence rolls on, we can clearly see one of the individuals here with the California Republic flag. This is why I'm presuming these are NCR. And of course above we can see one of the vertibirds on fire. Once again, all the firearms identification people, let us know what these are in the comments. And the final couple of clips in this sequence is the Ghoul watching himself on television, and what we suspect is him trying to save his daughter when the bombs fall. Maybe he gets drunk here and has a flashback. Brief shot of someone in power armour fighting the Yao Guai. Then someone in power armour back in Philly fighting the Ghoul. Again, confusing clip this one. Now we're back to the flooded area with the Thumb Monster making a reappearance. Appears to be fighting someone in power armour. And then we see a wet Lucy with the wound in her arm, and the dog is alive and next to her. Confused again. Perhaps they just use a stim pack on the dog. Dr. Wilzig injects something into the back of his own head. And we get our first look at the finished Super Duper Mart shot. This was in one of my very earliest videos. We can see here how they've CG'd the background in with a ruined city. This looks a little bit cheap and cheesy to me, and I think you can see the seam line a little bit too much, maybe because we saw that earlier video with the green screens. And we have to note again, this is the wounded version of Lucy with the one bare foot. Then we have a final sequence that goes by very, very quickly, and I'm guessing this is Lucy and Maximus right at the end of the series. A curious thing here is Lucy appears to be in a reasonably new vault suit. Maybe she replaces it at some point, or maybe this is earlier. And we can see Maximus here is in some kind of flight suit. This seems to be very, very similar to the ones in the game, apart from being in this dark crimson colour. Perhaps this is the undersuit Maximus has to wear to get into the power armour. Now, looking out over this crater in this scene, I'm putting this together with a scene at the start to think that maybe this is Shady Sands, but I could be completely wrong, of course. We have Lucy stomping some bugs here, and she appears to have found herself some new boots. Now, if we look on the power armour on the left, we can see that it has the scratches on the arm. Presumably this is the same set of power armour that fights the Yao Guai. In this scene we can also see that it has scratches across the chest panel. I think it's fair to assume they've used these scratches to denote this being the power armour suit that Maximus wears. I think this is the Vault Girl with the fork in her eye. Bit of a spoiler warning if she survives. There's this massive blood splatter in what I'm guessing is the Overseer's office. And a close-up of some jelly and cream. Was that partly Lucy's birthday, perhaps? I'm guessing this is Cooper Howard kissing his wife in the vault. And a final clip of Lucy looking battle-weary, and she's got her odd boots and her wound in her arm is bandaged. So this must be later on. One last important thing to mention is this sequence we get at the end here where they say that all of the episodes are available on April 11th. I wasn't expecting this. I'm not sure any of you guys were expecting this. We get the whole series on April 11th. I was presuming they'd do one a week. Most of the shows tend to do one a week. I'm wondering if they thought there was a possible problem where if you watched the first episode or two, people would start complaining, oh, the NCR aren't in it, or where's this or where's that, like we had with the first trailer where people just flamed it online and complained about this and complained about that. And they thought, rather than do individual episodes where everybody's going to sit there and complain about what's missing and what's in it and what's not in it, just put the whole thing out so everybody can watch the whole thing in one go. Obviously, it gives people like me a problem. I don't know how I'm going to do episode guides if they're all going to come out all in one hit. I'm obviously going to be very, very busy in April. I was planning on doing episode reviews, but that's obviously going to make things very, very difficult for me now. Let me know what you guys want. I want to know how you want me to cover the TV show. You let me know. I'll be really interested in hearing your thoughts and ideas. And a colossal thank you if you're still with me and you've made it through this whole video. Massive, massive thank you. I really enjoyed taking a look at the trailer with you guys, and I can't wait to get down in the comments and see what you've all made of this. And of course I have to thank this month's supporters. Whether it's just a one-off or a regular contribution, you can help the channel now over on Patreon and buy me a coffee. The links are in the description, and every penny goes to making new content. And if you're still watching, you'll definitely like some of my other content. Here's my suggestions of what to watch next. Don't forget to smash the like button before you go, and I hope to see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.